everybody. Welcome back to the Creepy Cascadia podcast. As always, I'm Sammy, one of your hosts, and I am joined here by my super handsome co-host
You don't have to.
slash Adam.
You don't have to comb the dregs
Hey,
for adjectives.
hey, I do what I want,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe you should take it again.
Maybe you
Less
should.
pause between.
It's real,
I'm making this hard for you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it so bad, but
it's real hateful of you, sir. I'm trying to give you a compliment, and you're just like dissing
like-
my compliment.
I'm like, do it better.
Yeah, fuck. Jesus. Well, I'm here with Adam. He's another person that's on this show. You
I like that one.
huh?
I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm here with some guy.
This dude that lives in the house that
Yeah.
that owns the house
Guess
I
I
live
love.
in.
I don't
man,
know.
no guessing. I do love you. But
Yeah.
so this is the Creepy Cascadia podcast.
We should really have you type it out for me next time, so I can do the intro.
Yeah, Adam
Right.
researched the episode this week.
Yeah.
So Adam wasn't feeling good. We had a graduation party to go down to, so I actually went by myself, and Adam researched the episode so I could go down and enjoy myself,
Yeah.
and not stress about getting this done. So that worked out great. I also found out that the graduate that we went to her party is a huge fan. She mentioned to it a few times how much that she loved the show. So shout out Bailey, you're awesome. We love that you love us and our show.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun graduation party. Like, I didn't go to the actual graduation, but the party was really fun. My friend Deanna, her and her husband, they just did an amazing job. You know, their house is, it's beautiful. Her husband is like super handy. We were talking about it because he built like a gazebo.
He built like a gazebo.
He built a gazebo for this graduation party.
Yeah.
And he's just super, like, he's remodeled pretty much their entire house. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to pay him to come fix it, like, do all the things we want to do in our house, you
Right.
know?
He,
Stupid
like, works
full-time
full-time,
jobs.
too,
Yeah,
right? Like-
he's got a full-time job.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I guess.
I'm sorry I'm not handy.
No, I don't.
That's
That's not what I was
you were trying to
meaning.
give them a shout out.
Yeah.
You were trying to give Josh a shout out.
Yes. And I talked to a few other people that they were like, how's the podcast? I love listening to it. And I cannot even tell you guys how much that, like, actually means to me. Like, to hear people that actually listen to it, not just out of, like,
Nicety.
necessity, like, feeling like they have to kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah. But yeah, so Adam's going to do the episode today, and you guys are going to be shocked because it's about a comic book. It has to do with comic books-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of comic books, we went and watched the new Across the Spider-Verse,
Across
Spider-Man.
the Spider-Verse, yes.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
I liked it.
That was-
I'm not telling, if you don't like cliffhangers, go in knowing that this one ends kind of on a cliffhanger. And I was like, what the fuck? It's over? Are you kidding me?
I got the sense really late in the movie that I'm like, they're not wrapping up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was slower in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, they're gonna two-parter it. I think it's already known that it's two-parter.
Well, not everybody knew that.
True story. We did not know going in,
Nope, did not.
but I think it's out there on the internet like already.
But I have actually been trying not to look at spoilers for stuff, and you hate spoilers.
Yeah.
I like spoilers. Like, I'll always look up stuff because I want to see the spoilers. Let me tell you guys about the day we had. This day, so Adam was sick on his birthday. So we, like, didn't get to go, you know, we pushed everything back a week. We're like, we'll just do it this Friday. We had the day off, so we decided to go to breakfast. Like, this is Adam's birthday, splurge day. Like, let's do it up big. We went to breakfast at this place that we hadn't been to for a while. And I think the reason we hadn't been in a while is because the last time we went, like, the service and the food was like, meh. And we were like, no, let's give him another chance. Like, we really like this place.
Yeah.
We went again, and we literally sat there for like 3 minutes waiting to be seated or waiting for anybody
We
to
didn't
just
sit.
acknowledge us.
We were standing next to the "Please wait to be seated" sign.
Yeah, so we're waiting. Multiple people like
Waitresses.
walk by us.
Yeah.
Nobody says a word. Nobody like acknowledge. Like they
The
don't
young
even.
gal. The young. Okay.
After a while.
After a while.
After
but
like
I think
2 minutes.
I think it was her first time going by us.
Yeah, but multiple people went by us and we're like, ugh. I was like, maybe we should just walk to the place next door, like jokingly or whatever. We should have walked to the place next door. I'm thinking, but.
Yeah.
So that was just like the start of it. Like, and we're not Karens, like we understand, but the people kept walking by and like looking, but not saying anything to us. And we're like, are they not taking new people right now? Like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was like
it was odd.
Like the place wasn't packed, but there were
some people. I mean, it wasn't.
I would say like 80% full. I would say most the average table had people at it, but there were empty tables.
And it was almost like the waitresses walking by were like, not our job, not ours.
I got
you know
that
what
sense
I mean?
too.
Like,
I was like, is there a hostess that's like on break? Like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, and then the food wasn't that great. It was pretty bland. Like
it was terrible. It was.
We sat there forever waiting. Like they came and asked us what we wanted to drink, and
we ordered our waters right away.
Water and coffee,
drink right away,
and then like 15 minutes later, we finally like the waitress walked back by and we asked like, "Hey, can we?" get her? And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then it was almost like she like I kind of got the sense she was like annoyed that we asked her again, but it's like
a little.
It was like 15 minutes. Like I was trying, we've had colds, so we're trying not to cough, and it's like sometimes you need water, and it was like the people. There was like 2 tables that came in after us that got their drinks before us, like So we're like, okay, it's not that they're like, I'm like, I think she just kind of forgot, which is fine. I mean, it happens.
She made the claim that the coffee was just being made.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. Adam and I are big breakfast people. Like, we love a good breakfast.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I think me more so than you. Like, every once in a while, if we go out for, like, brunch, you'll get, like, a lunch item or whatever. But if there's breakfast, like, I'm getting breakfast. I love breakfast.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh, man, that's, like, whatever. So, we were super nice. Like, we're not those type of people. Like, even if the service is bad, we still tip because we just... Service industry's hard. People have off days or whatever. That happens, right? Like, we understand.
What situations would you not tip in? Like, straight up, like, the waitress, like, flipped out, or, like, garbage in your food?
It would have to be really bad.
Flagrant, right?
It would have to be, like intentional hostility towards somebody. Yeah. And at that point, I'd be like, I don't want to eat this. I'm not tipping for something that I'm not going to eat. Like... Yeah. But even in that case, I'm such a fucking puss. Like, I probably would still, like, leave a buck or two just because I feel bad, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we came home. We're like, okay, we're not going to let this, like, sour our day, just an off day. It happens to everybody. Yeah. Turned out the whole fucking day was off. It was just crazy. So then we go to the movies because I was like, Adam really wanted to go to the movies, and we wanted to go to this steakhouse we really like for dinner. Yeah. So we go to a matinee because, we had the day off, and we like to save a few bucks. Yeah. Cheaper movies, man. They're expensive. So we go to the Spider-Verse, and we're sitting in there. First, when we walked in the theater, this woman was freaking out on the... the people that work at the theater, the teens, basically, that work at this theater, because the Transformers movie was too loud, and she could feel it vibrating in her body, and why did they have to have it so loud? And I was just like, oh my God.
We were like, have you never been in a Transformers movie before?
I think I told you, I'm like, does she not know who Michael Bay is? Yeah. Which we don't even know if he still does those, but...
Yeah, I'm not even sure if he does them anymore, but it's still like, they're going to follow the same. It's like...
Yeah.
Blockbuster action movie, blow you out with the speakers and visuals is what they're going for. Mm-hmm. Like
that's just that's how they do.
Yeah.
So we were just like, oh my goodness, like these poor people, because again, like we don't really complain. It takes a lot for one of us to like say something. Yeah. And but when I say one of us, like for me to tell Adam and him to say something. Yeah. I generally don't, unless I'm really pissed off. Then it's...
So they were. Yeah. So they were working to turn down the volume a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so then we go in.
Yeah.
to our movie, and it's
two. We had a 2:30 showtime.
Yeah.
And we walked in the theater at 2:30, and we're like, "Huh, there's no previews playing. That's weird." Like,
yeah.
Usually the previews are on for like a half hour. I swear to God, before the movie even before the actual previews for the movie starts at 2:30.
Yeah,
whatever.
they have the
the quiz thing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like there's like that one lady. She's like the female version of Ryan Seacrest.
Maria Menounos.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I don't know if you did her last name right there, but yeah,
probably
Maria,
not.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Maria Menounos.
Maria Menounos?
No, there's no D. It's like Menous. It's like multiple N's, but
she's the one that has the like unique laugh, because she's been on Ridiculousness.
Oh, has she?
And they talked about her laugh.
Mm.
She's got like a real like high pitch like something like, I mean, it's like
up there with Chanel West Coast.
Yeah. Okay. She has a unique laugh similar to Chanel West Coast. Yeah.
So it's like 2:30 or 2:30. We're waiting. There's nothing playing on the screen.
Yeah, we sat for a bit.
Yeah, so it's like 2:40 is when I looked at Adam and I'm like, I think they forgot to turn her movie on. So he goes out to the lobby. He's like, I'm gonna go ask him.
Yeah.
Because, there were some other people in there, and,
Oh, yeah, let me take the story from here.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I go out to the lobby.
Yep.
And the lady from the Transformers movie, so the lady is back out in the lobby. She went back into her theater, I'm pretty sure. She went back into her theater.
Because we got a pop.
Because we got a pop and she wasn't there. Mm-hmm. When I go back out to tell the people that the movie's not playing, she's, like, talking to them about, like, getting her money back or whatever. She's telling some story about, oh yeah, she got a refund before, and I'm like, lady, you just shouldn't go to the movies.
Yeah, if you just don't like the volume, maybe just watch it at home where you can control it yourself.
Right? Yeah, and not ruin it for 20 other people. Mm-hmm. So I politely wait for them to finish dealing with her. Uh-huh. And the people, there were like 3 people, and like, yeah, and then one lady is standing with like her back straight up, like literally back to the lady, like, I think telling somebody something, like telling the third person something, but like trying to make it seem like, straight, like she wasn't having it. This person with her back to her was like not having whatever this lady was saying. Mm-hmm. And then the third gal had like, she was like doing the like hand on the headset, like, I'm trying to hear what somebody's saying to me, Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I don't know what's going on, right? But eventually something breaks up, and like the lady with the back to her, like she starts to walk away, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, the movie in theater 1 like isn't playing. And they just like give me this look and laugh. Like, of course. Like,
of course it's not playing.
Of course it's not playing. There's something going on, They're like, we'll get it going. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like, I go back to the theater. Mm-hmm. So I go back into the theater, still dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, at least I told them. Like, I say it to you, but I also say it loud enough so like other people hear it too, right?
Yeah.
And then like the movie just comes on, and somebody comes in and they're like, we're just gonna go straight to the movie, no previews. Like, thanks for waiting, people. You know? And it was like 2:45, 2:50 maybe, right?
Yeah.
Or 3.
It was 2:30 that the movie started.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it was like 2:45 when it finally started.
Yeah. And no previews.
Yeah, which was weird, but I'm like, man, I like to watch the previews.
Right?
Because we always see movies that we're like, oh, we got to watch that one. We got to make sure we go to the theater and watch that one. Like,
right.
Yeah. Because we don't watch commercials on regular TV.
No.
Hardly at all, ever.
Skip them.
Yeah.
Skip them all the time.
So movie theaters are where we get our movie previews.
Yeah. Or ads on our phone. That's pretty much
There is that. Yeah.
I don't know how much TikTok is advertising like new releases though.
Every once in a while. YouTube. Yeah, sometimes, but not very often.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we're like, can I tell them the story about the jacket?
Yeah.
So
I forgot about it. I already forgot about it.
So then we like are laughing. We're like, oh man, it's just one of those days, right? Like weird things happen.
Yeah.
So we're driving. So we leave the theater and we're heading to dinner to go to the steakhouse that we really like, that we only go to basically for like celebrations or one of our birthdays. Like it's, our fancy go-to
3-4
place.
times a year max, probably, right? Yeah.
So we're about halfway there and Adam's like, did I leave my jacket at the theater? And I was like, oh shit, you did. I was like, because I remember you taking it off and saying, oh, I don't need this. So he calls the theater, and they're like, oh, okay, like, you can just come back and get it. We'll put it in the lost and found. So we're like, we go to dinner, we're chatting, we're heading. So we have our dinner. Dinner was great. Like,
Yeah.
the dinner was great. Like, it was a great dinner. The food was really good.
Yeah.
The service was really good.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Dinner was good.
Yeah.
I was very surprised by the steakhouse. I don't know if they've picked up like the barbecue, or they bought out like a barbecue place that used to be around or something.
They're like a barbecue place that used to have a
Yeah.
restaurant is now like serving some of their food there.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah, and so I ordered barbecue sides. I did potato salad and baked beans with my steak.
I got mashed potatoes and green beans because if there's mashed
Classic.
potatoes on a menu, I'm be ordering them.
Yeah, you went with classic and I went with barbecue sides.
Yeah.
And I was glad I did.
Yeah,
Like,
you really liked your sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, chef's kiss. Like, I really like the baked bean sauce so much. I was dipping my steak in the baked bean sauce.
Yeah.
Like, sacrilege. I know to all those steak eaters out there. You know, heavy S&P.
Hey,
down the hatch. Right?
You know what? Yeah. Girl marks, bud. But, hey, it's your, eat what you like.
Yeah.
But anyway, so dinner was great. We head back to the theater after dinner. And Adam, he's like, did
It's like halfway.
Yeah, halfway back. And he's like, did I actually have a jacket with me? And I was like, you did, didn't you? And then we are starting to question ourselves. And he's like, I don't think I did. And I was like, no, because you said you were going to take it off because you didn't need it. And he's like, that was at breakfast.
Yeah.
Because he wore his jacket to breakfast, and he's like, oh, I don't need this. He took it off before he sat down. So that's what I was thinking of. And he's like, I feel like if you were cold, you would have, grabbed my jacket. Because I was a little chilly when we were in the theater. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I feel like we would have also noticed it sitting in the chair next to you. And I'm like, well, I was like, we don't have to go. And he's like, no, we have to go. He's like, I just feel stupid now. He's like, I feel like an idiot because I don't think I actually had a jacket.
Oh,
so
I feel like such a goober.
I'm like, hey, you know what? It's just par for the course. It's just one of those days. I was like, was it a full moon on Friday? What was happening?
No, I got to tell you about it. So we go back to the movie theater.
I pull up and I'm like, I'm just going to pull up right here in front, let you out to by the front doors.
In and out. I'm going to be in and out.
Yep.
I go in, and the movie theater is slammed because it's now
6:37.
6:37 on a Friday night, payday Friday or whatever, right?
Yep.
So they're just slammed, and I'm like, I try to get somebody's attention there at the box office. I'm like, hey, I think I left my jacket. I called earlier. They're like, okay, yeah. Obviously we're doing cleanings here. Let's grab somebody. So they send me to the guy who takes tickets or whatever. And they're like, here, let me go check the lost and found. And they this guy opens the cupboard and pulls out an empty fucking big plastic box. And he's like, huh. And he literally reaches his hands into the box and acts like he's pulling out a coat. And he's like, is it invisible? And I'm like, oh my, I was like, no, I'm not Harry fucking Potter. I don't have an invisible cloak. I was like, thanks. I was like, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we can check around more. And I'm like, nah, because now I'm not so sure that I left it here. I was just I just wanted to double check. I was like, I'll come back if it's not at home. That's what I told him. I was like, no, you guys are slammed right now. I'll come back if I really think I left my coat.
Spoiler alert. The jacket was at home.
We get home. I walk into the living room and immediately see it hanging up. They're like, nope, it's here. Yep, I'm just a dummy.
No. It was just so funny. At that point, we were just laughing at everything. But hey, we did get a cool Spider-Man poster.
Yeah, they were giving away.
They were giving away posters.
Yep.
So you got one of those for the comic book room. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go see it. It was really good. All that to say, man, some days, I tell ya.
So some days are just rougher than others for no good reason.
Just weird things.
Yeah. None.
Yeah.
No good reason.
Well, yeah, so we're going to turn it over to Adam because he's in charge today.
Man, I feel like we talked a bunch. I don't know if I really need a question, related to cases.
Hey,
but
if you have a question, give me the question.
Well, let's get you started, right?
We'll edit it out if we don't.
Yeah, okay.
We'll edit what we need.
All right. If you were on a jury, what would it take for you to, like, convict somebody of murder?
Ooh.
Like, would you need to see hard evidence?
Yes. There could be no, like, no, without a doubt. There'd have to be something without a doubt.
Okay.
I think that's what they say, like, if you...
Right, it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
Beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, there has to be solid evidence. There has to be, like, if there's anything that comes out that could possibly point to somebody else could have done it, or it doesn't explicitly, implicate that person, I'm going to say... it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, especially for murder. And if it's like, if the death penalty's on the table, like I have to.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not in this case, but yeah.
But even like a murder conviction, like, that's a pretty serious conviction that could life in prison. Like,
yeah, we're talking first degree murder, so like life in prison even without the death penalty.
Yeah,
right? Like,
so you definitely, there cannot be any shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, if there's something that could make me think, well, that doesn't prove that he did it or she did it.
Right.
Yeah, it would have to be solid evidence, lots of it, no doubt, no reasonable doubt. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But I've definitely got a case for you here, because this is an interesting one.
I know. I've heard of it before, but I don't remember, like I kind of remember some of the things, but I don't remember specifics, so I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this topic, I did try to do some research. I tried to find other information, like shy of just other blogs. Like, the main source is definitely like a Dateline episode.
Yeah.
Right? Which, that's a TV show. They try to sensationalize certain things, and like...
Dateline is a solid resource. I will give you Dateline. Dateline, they do a really good job. They're very investigative. Like, out of all the shows, I would say, like, I would trust theirs more than most others because of... They, like, get the facts.
Well, they talk... I mean, so, like, this
Plus,
episode...
Keith Morrison is, like, crime daddy for everybody.
I don't know if it was a Keith Morrison episode.
Was it Josh Mankiewicz?
Lester Holt was the main guy.
Yeah. Okay. They're all awesome, but everybody loves Keith Morrison. Which, hey, if you guys are listening and you like Dateline, fun fact, Keith Morrison is Matthew Perry's stepfather.
Put that in your trivia.
Put that in your trivia knowledge.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry played Chandler Bing on Friends. I was going to say Joey Tribbiani. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, he was Chandler Bing.
Chandler.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hollywood families, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did Keith Morrison ever go on Friends? Was he ever a guest star on Friends?
I don't think so. I've watched all the Friends, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not as often as The Office or anything, but...
I mean, I've seen Friends of, like, probably 10 times. Yeah. Like, the series 10 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I specifically, I don't... They had a lot of... It was interesting, because, it was... They had the prosecuting attorneys, they had the defense attorneys, they talked to jurors, they talked to family members, they talked to...
They get a lot of information. They're very rounded in their investigation. They don't just focus on, like, one or the other. In my opinion. I feel like they're very...
So, in this case, it's interesting, because they didn't have any stuff from the family. Like, it was like the victim's brother. I'll kind of go into it,
Okay.
But, okay, so this case is from 1990.
I love the 90s. 80s and 90s are, like, my favorite genre to investigate.
It's just, it's such a weird date for me, because it's, like, in my lifetime, but, like, before I really paid attention to anything in the world, right? Like this is post-Cold War, pre-Clinton, like, pre-internet, I mean, 1990 is, like, an interesting...
It feels like 1990 is not that long ago, but is?
20, 33 years.
Yeah.
Not 20, 33 years.
But it feels like 20.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like the 90s were 20 years ago. That's,
Yeah.
But this was like super early. So it was July 13th, Friday the 13th. Yeah. But this has been dubbed the comic book murders by Dateline. That was like the heading of the show. But so
I don't know if you guys know, but that one appealed to Adam because he also likes comic books.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at
not that we've ever talked about it on the show before, but
yeah, I was looking at like, has there ever been like a serial killer comic book like writer or artist? Mm-hmm. There was one in it from like Australia. Yeah. But it was kind of like
a weird
maybe
one.
I'll do it about him, but I don't think I was going to find that much research on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so murder happened at a mom and pop comic book shop. Okay, like strip mall, 90s strip mall. Like I want to say almost L-shaped, right, with like the parking lot in the middle. All right, and the body was found by two customers just after 6 p.m. Okay, so like the store is open, and one of the customers that found him was a nurse, and she started CPR, but her description was like this lady was already gone. Like she described like blue lips, no pulse, just nothing to be done.
Right.
Okay.
Like as a nurse, if somebody's dead, there's no.
Right.
If somebody's beyond the point of resuscitation, a nurse is going to know that.
Yeah, I think she also knew, right, that like she doesn't have the ability to pronounce dead though. Right. Also, so the victim, Barbara George. Okay. I almost said Gordon because that's Batgirl. But yeah, so Barbara George was pronounced dead at the hospital. She was 32 years old.
Oh, she's young.
Yeah, not that old. 32 years old, 2 kids, husband. Do
you go into? Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is this like, was she another customer of the store? Did she work there?
The nurse?
No. The person that they found dead.
Oh, the person they found dead was one of the owners. She was the mom of the mom and pop store.
She was one of the owners. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Barbara and her husband Michael George.
Okay.
I'm gonna trip that one up.
I'm just waiting for you to say Michael Jordan.
Or George Michael.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's just the inverse of George Michael.
Yep. Okay, sorry. So she owned the shop with her husband.
Barbara Gordon. See, I told you I'm gonna do it. Yeah, so Barbara George owned the store with her husband Michael George. Okay. And she was found in the back office area. Okay. So the customers were there. They felt like they were waiting like a long time, like they were ready to check out. Yeah. And they said on the show that like, yeah, you might have to wait a little bit, but like this was like a really long time, more than normal. So eventually somebody went into the back area and found the body. Okay. And it wasn't until after she was pronounced dead and like, I don't know if like, I don't think the nurses were like cleaning up the body or anything, but they found a bullet hole. Like at first they didn't know what had happened. Yeah. Until the nurses found a bullet hole in the top in her skull.
Oh shit.
Okay. And that was after she was pronounced dead. So they were trying to work on her, didn't even know she had been shot in the head, right?
Yeah. So you said the nurses found the bullet?
Yeah, so a nurse found the bullet hole in Barbara's skull.
The same one that found her?
No, a different one.
Okay, so this was like at a hospital.
This was at the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, after she was pronounced dead.
Okay.
So they worked on her. They didn't even know like what had happened.
Right.
After she's pronounced dead, they find the bullet hole, is what they say. Okay. So, turns out that night was supposed to be the birthday party for her husband, Michael George. Oh. Okay. So, yeah, so they were going to have a birthday party for him. Okay. At the comic shop called Comics World. Mm-hmm. All right. And this is in Clinton Township, Michigan. Okay. Okay. But detectives marked out the store. It's a crime scene. As soon as they get the call about the bullet wound, they go and secure the whole store as a crime scene. Michael pulls up at like 8 o'clock to find cops swarming his store, and he's like, "What's going on?"
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, "There's been an incident. Your wife is injured. She's at the hospital. Like, you need to go to the hospital." Doesn't tell them that she's dead.
Yeah.
Which I assume they knew.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they tell him, "Nope, you got to go to the hospital." So, and then they start searching the store, right? So they search the nearby area. There's what else happens? So because it's his birthday, and it's a birthday party for Michael,
other people start showing up.
Other people start showing up too. Like, he's not the only one. So they're looking into it, and they're like, "All right, like, she got shot. Like, that's usually a robbery, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, it's weird because she has a diamond ring on her. She has her wedding ring on her finger, still there. Cash register, over $700 in it, untouched. Valuable comic books along the wall in like a glass case, still there. Glass isn't even beat up, nothing. Right? Like, all it looks like is that like a struggle maybe happened in the back room. Like, you know, boxes and some things were like knocked over, and like that's where Barbara was found.
Okay.
But like the back room of a store like that could also just be messy.
True.
Right?
True.
So it's real weird for, like, you know, like, was this a robbery, right?
It's a pretty shitty one if it was, because they didn't take anything.
Yeah, they didn't take anything of like value, right? Well, Michael, after he's allowed back into the store or whatever, like they, you know, I think they walk him through, and they're like, "Is anything missing? Because it doesn't really seem that way. Like, if this is a robbery," and he's like, "Oh, in the back area, there's 2 boxes of really expensive comics that are missing," right? But according to him, they were in like normal boxes, like they were like in normal comic boxes. They weren't marked as like super expensive boxes. They weren't, you know, and the cops made note that like there were multiple boxes similar to this. So it's like, if this is a robbery and all they took was like those 2 comic boxes
and didn't take the money out of the cash register,
didn't take any money whatsoever, like, this is really weird, right? Like this is a very odd robbery. Okay.
The husband did it.
He did estimate the value of the comics that were stolen at like $12,000.
Okay.
And he did submit an insurance claim for them. Okay. But, right, like, it's kind of funny. You went to like the husband did it, right?
Yeah.
Well, so his alibi was that he was at his mother's house. He had the 2 daughters, and he was there from like 4:30 to like 6:37 or something like that. And he was asleep on the couch. He was at his mom's place. The grandma had the kids. He was asleep on the couch.
Okay.
That's his alibi.
Okay.
Yeah, so his alibi is that he's on the couch. His mom verifies it later through testimony or whatever. Like, yeah, like, I took the kids. He slept on the couch. We came back. He was still sleeping on the couch. Woke him up. He went off to his birthday party.
Okay.
Or like took the kids, went off to the birthday party, whatever. Maybe,
I have questions about that when we get to the testimony.
I don't know if he took the kids. I think he might have just dropped off the kids because, like, they never really talked about the kids seeing the scene or anything whatsoever,
okay.
Right? Okay. I will note that Joe, Barbara's brother, was there when the hospital told Michael that Barbara was dead. And they said unfazed. Like, didn't react, you know, didn't tear up, didn't freak out anything, you know, did the old dead face, probably is how I imagine it, just like, you know.
Which we've said before, you cannot judge how somebody reacts to news like that. Like, they could be in shock and just not know how to process it.
Right.
But police always do look at the spouse first if somebody dies. So, you know.
Yeah. So this was a cold case. Okay.
So they didn't have any leads after?
They didn't have any leads.
Man.
They didn't. They cleared Joe for, you know, for his alibi from his mom.
Joe or Michael?
Sorry, Michael.
Okay.
They cleared Michael from his alibi with his mom, sleeping on the couch.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Sorry, I keep asking questions, but
yeah, it's fine. What's up?
So his alibi was he was at his mom's with his kids and sleeping on the couch. Did the mom leave with the kids at any point?
Yeah, they went to a park. They were at like a park nearby for like an hour or more.
Okay.
Like,
so that's not a great alibi in my mind.
It's not a great alibi.
Because you can do a lot in an hour, depending on like location of the comic book store, how far away from his mom's was the place. Like,
yeah,
that's more than enough time. And who actually pays attention to how much time? Like, right?
Yeah.
You could be gone a lot longer than that and not even realize it.
Yeah, they quoted like a bunch of times. It like really, I think they placed her murder like at right around 6 p.m. Okay. So like she was found like
not very long after.
Very quickly. Like the store was open. She was found. And the Michael's mom's house was a half hour away from the comic book shop.
Oh, okay.
They did make note of that.
Okay, so that's a distance. Yeah.
It's a decent distance for him to like drive and be gone, right?
Commit a murder, come back home.
Yeah. You know, pretend you're still sleeping and like, you know, they never really talked about like how close this park was, like, yeah, you know, to the house or whatever.
Okay.
But like I think somebody did claim that they when they ultimately talked to like a neighbor eventually, she said that like when she went into her house, like on the neighborhood, she saw Michael's mom and the girls out at this park.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But they were out at this park for like from like I think they say roughly like 4:45 to like 5:45, 6. Like she claims that she came back before 6 p.m. and he was still there.
Okay. So they like they don't really have any leads. I'm assuming no like security videos, early 90s, like there's probably no security in the mall, or if it is, it's like CCTV that got recorded over, like
I mean if it was recorded over, like right, like the cops took over the cordoned off like within hours. So like I just don't think they had video.
Okay.
They just didn't have surveillance video.
That's fair.
Right? What they did, so from their quote-unquote leads, I love this part about Dateline. Like, they just try to hook you. Like, I swear to God, like, every segment, they kept being like, well, what about this? You know? It was like, so the two people who found her, in their interview, they said they saw a car speed away from, like, the parking lot. And it was noticeable enough that they made a comment to each other that was unusual.
Okay.
But they didn't have plates, they didn't have model, they didn't note anything about the car other than a speeding car left the parking lot right before they pulled up or got in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like very could well be the killer. Somebody said that there was like an older gentleman hanging around the strip mall with like a short brimmed black hat, like, and he's like, they showed a lot of pictures about it. It was like, they ultimately described it as like a Greek fisherman's hat. Like, I honestly don't know like how I can describe it. Yeah. It was so funny that they kept bringing that up as the Greek fisherman's hat. And like if Dateline didn't post a picture of it, like every time they said it, like I wouldn't have known what it looked like. Right. And then somebody else said they saw a bearded lady or a very slim figure wearing an obviously fake beard. Okay. And they sketched out the person, and it was just super generic. It was like a beard, sunglasses, and a hoodie. Like, no defining features whatsoever. Right? So, like...
not getting a lot from witnesses.
Getting, like, none.
Yeah.
Right? Like nothing.
Yeah.
You know? Basically, like, this lady was murdered by a phantom, and, like, even though, like, people saw some sketchy sketch-ish things.
It's a mall. There's sketchy people all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know the makeup of this town, whatever, but basically they give the police not much to go on, right? So it's cold case, no leads. Put it away. Okay. They don't even have like DNA. They don't have evidence. Like they have like nothing. They don't find a gun nearby. Like they search the area nearby. They don't find a gun. Like the back door to the place is like still locked. There's like just nothing. Like zero leads.
Okay.
So, I will say, so Michael, the spouse, they obviously looked at him, right?
Right.
Like,
as you do.
You're gonna look at him. Like, you just need to know. All right. And he was kind of like, they called him a person of interest at one point. Okay.
Okay.
But they never were able to like charge him or anything.
No substantial evidence to point to him.
None.
Okay.
Right. Like he had the alibi, but
that seems like such a flimsy alibi to me, though.
Yeah. So it's super flimsy.
Yeah.
In that, right? Like it's like he wasn't talking to him.
It was his mom.
It's his mom. People chalk that up to like people protect their kids, say whatever to protect their kids.
Yeah.
The girls, from the sounds of it, they didn't call the girls to the stand to be like, oh yeah, my dad was asleep on the couch because grandma took him to a park. You know, like I'm not saying she helped him, but like the kids couldn't corroborate the story as right. So Barbara's funeral happens. Michael submits the insurance claim the next day. Okay, we're talking like a week later.
Okay.
Submits the insurance claim for her money, right? They had her insured for like $130,000, and maybe 12 of that was the comic books or whatever. But I think they showed it as like one lump sum for like about 100,000 and another one for like 20 to 30 some.
Okay.
Okay. He moves in with a lady who is assisting at the shop.
Fucking fucker.
This gal named Renee.
Sure he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got his 2 kids. Renee got divorced 3 weeks before Barb's murder. And she has 5 kids.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
And her and Michael get together and they use the insurance money to like basically put up at a new home. And this is not that long after. I was
going to say, like, how long after did him and Renee get together?
I swear to God, they said 2 days.
Jesus!
But, like, I may have misheard, but, like, you know, even, let's say it's even 2 months. Let's say he moves in with a lady who worked at the shop within 2 months.
That's not that much time.
That's still not that much time, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's like,
How, I mean, as a grieving spouse, like, how could you even think of even entertaining the idea in 2 months of chatting with somebody new? I'm sus at AF. This guy's dirty. I can already tell.
Okay.
Don't spoil it, but okay.
So
I'm just letting you know.
So
fucking fucker.
So to give you some details that I'll gloss over later, right? He had been having an affair with Renee.
Shocker,
I know, right?
Fucking shocker.
Yeah. Okay. Had been having an affair with her. Supposedly had an affair with another lady, like him and Barbara would fight about it.
I was going to say, did Barbara know? Like, it sounds like she did know.
It turns out he wanted a divorce from her, but they were like big Catholics, like staunch Catholics, and this is like the early 90s, right?
So he went the King Henry route and killed his wife instead. Sorry.
I mean, it's
okay. So they were obviously having marital problems. They were
obviously having marital problems. Like the story actually comes out that like they literally had a fight the afternoon that she was murdered. That they had a fight. He left at 4, picked up the kids, went to his mother's house.
Renee put on the fake beard and went in the mall and shot her. Sorry.
I mean, there were comments that, like, right, the comment was that it was a slim person. Somebody thought it was a bearded lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I pulled too much of this into my notes, but, like, uh, people said that, like, Michael would call Barbara, like, fat and, like, he wasn't attracted to her anymore. And, like, I don't know, like, a lady later in the show said that, like, he hit on her, or he didn't hit on her. He made comments about Barbara to her in front of Barbara at the store.
So this guy's just a fucking prick.
Yeah, that's, I mean, yeah.
To put it nicely, this guy's a fucking prick.
Yeah, he's definitely a dick. Like, he was totally a dick to Barb.
Like a shitty husband, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Now we're only getting one side, but, like, I don't care how bad your marriage is. If you're making shitty comments like that about somebody in front of them or about them to other people,
yeah,
just fuck. You're obviously not. If you're having an affair, like, your religion is not that important to you. So just get the fucking divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and, like, the lady's story was, like, very sharp. She made a comment about how, oh, their daughters were so beautiful. And he made a comment that if it wasn't for the daughters, she remembered this. If it wasn't for the daughters, he would have left her and, like, been with somebody else.
What a douche. Yeah, so he could just cheat on somebody else. Good luck, ladies.
Yeah. So but here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. 2 years later, Michael has closed the comic shop. Him and Renee moved to Windber, Pennsylvania, so a different state. They reopened Comics World on the main street of this new small town. They buy a large enough home for them and their 7 kids.
Jesus.
They ingratiate themselves into the new town. They're active in the kids' lives. They help with, like, the business helps with, like, a Make-A-Wish Foundation, like, thing. Everyone in the town seems to really like him. So, like, as much as we're like, this guy's a dick because of, like, his relationship with Barb, like, Dateline like interviewed people from the town Windber.
Everybody loved him.
Everybody loved him. Yeah. He did cut off ties with Barb's family. Like, apparently they rarely got to see the kids.
Okay.
So yeah. Right? Which is sus already, because, like, you already, like, how quickly they moved in and everything. Like, yeah.
A pig in a suit is still a pig.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the 2 years, back at Clinton Township, the chief of police dies. His name's Robert Smith. Okay.
Okay.
His son, Eric, gets elected the top prosecutor in Macomb County, Michigan, where Clinton Township is, like, a part of.
Okay.
And knowing how much this case bugged his dad before he died, and he even, like, on Dateline, he claimed that, like, his dad, when they would drive by the shop or, like, where that murder happened, his dad would comment about it. About, like, that's, like, the one that got away or whatever.
Right.
Eric Smith also says that, well, this is 4 years. So this is 4 years after his dad's death.
Okay.
So, right. So, like, there's been quite a bit of time. And Eric is also being asked by other families about cold cases. Like, people that care about these cases come to him as the prosecutor, like, here's new evidence, here's something, like, please do something.
Yeah, for sure.
He basically sets up, like, the cold case unit for their county.
Okay.
Okay.
I do love a good cold case.
Right?
Especially when they're solved.
Right?
Makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Clinton Township is like, cool, we got this cold case unit. I have names for some of these people, like Lieutenant Greg Keith reopened the comic book murder case.
Okay.
He had been on the force when it happened, and it bothered him quite a bit. Like, I think he said that, like, he was, like, the same age, roughly the same age, like, he had kids about the same age. I don't know how much they, you know, how tied in he was to Barbara or Michael.
But it resonated with him.
Exactly. It totally resonated with him. So he gets help he pulls in like two senior guys, like these dudes are like, if you want to think of like a small town, like homicide cop or like senior detective, right? Like, you got these guys, okay? Jimmy Hall, Lenny Rico, okay?
They even sound like grizzled old, like Lenny and Jimmy.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, think of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
The two older guys. That's exactly who popped in my head when you said it.
But make them competent instead of incompetent? Yes, exactly,
Okay.
right? So they pull them in, right? And what is it? They talk to Joe again. They basically like reopen everything. They reopen any leads. But like they don't have DNA. They don't have a gun. There's literally like no evidence. Like when we've talked about cold cases, we talked about how DNA was a very key part. Like the cops preserved it. There wasn't anything for them to preserve in this case.
No shell casing or anything like that found at the scene?
No shell casing found at the scene. They found the bullet.
Yeah.
So there were 2 shots fired, one into her skull and one that missed and went into like a calendar and then into the wall. Okay. So they had a bullet. Like,
so they knew what kind of gun it was.
Yeah, so they knew roughly what size, but they never recovered a gun. They never, nothing. Okay. They looked at the old leads, the speeding car. My note actually says they found it, but no, before she was found. Sorry. The found was tied to her body being found. They never found the speeding car. They never found the guy with the weird hat. They never found the bearded lady. Okay, but what new thing they did find was actually something that was in the case already that like wasn't ever like made important. This guy claimed somebody called the police station like a day or two after like the murder and said he called the comic book store between like 5:15, 5:45. He put it originally at like 5:30ish and said he talked to Michael on the phone.
Boom.
At the comic book store.
Fuckers. Okay.
So yeah. So this guy's named Mike Renaud. Okay. He's a coach. He's in a wheelchair. By the way, yeah. So they reopen it in 2007.
So 17 years later.
17 years later. Sorry, that was a pretty key detail.
That's okay.
When they reopened.
No, 17 years later that they're getting this new, or they're re-going through the evidence and they see this statement from this guy that called into the police station. Okay.
Yeah, that called in the police station said, I talked to Michael George. He was at the comic shop and like, and they had a report filled out and just
got lost in the
lost in the tips, got lost in whatever, running down other stuff, right?
That's
like
a big tip.
Right? Like it basically counters like
his alibi
statement.
Completely.
Yeah. Yeah, so he said that when he called, like the question they always ask him is, well, how did he sound on the phone, right? Like, how did you know it was him? And he's like, oh, I called him all the time. Like, I shopped at the store. Like, he specifically said that, like, one of his comics had jumped in value from, like, $3 to $5 to, like, $40. And he was trying to find out why.
I would liken it to, like, you calling. It sounds like this would be somebody, like, if you called into your comic book store, you would mostly know who was working there. And you could, like, if it was somebody, like, that you talk to on the regular basis, you would know who it is because you talk to him all the time.
If it was the owner who I talk to all the time, right?
You would know that.
And that's what he said. He said normally they would BS. Conversations would be long.
Mm-hmm.
He said he described Michael as wanting to get off the phone as quickly as possible.
Huh.
The conversation was super short, like less than 5 minutes total, when normally they would BS and go on and on. And yeah, this and yeah, it boggles my mind that this wasn't new information. It was in the files and they just didn't see it at the time. So now that his alibi is blown, like they talked to this guy, even though 17 years later, he's still like, oh yeah, no, I totally called. Like, yeah, that's accurate.
I
Blah,
feel
blah,
like that would
blah.
be something you'd remember.
Yeah. It's like, this is also a guy like respected in the community as a coach, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, like I totally talked to the guy, right? Like, well, whatever happened to that? He probably just assumed that like, oh, he was at the store, he never knew any. Oh, he probably didn't even know that like he was supposed to be somewhere else, right?
Right.
Like they don't tell the witnesses, oh, this is
No.
a great tip, thanks, because that blows up his alibi.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't tell people.
They tend
that,
to
right?
not do that.
They tend not to do that. Okay. So what they do,
Doo-doo.
yeah. So what the cold case does,
Okay.
cold case unit does, is they send 3 teams simultaneously. They send one team to talk to Michael's mom. They send one team to talk to Michael, and they send one team to talk to Renee.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're purposefully trying to hit all 3 locations at the same time.
So they cannot corroborate or line up their stories.
They cannot line up their stories.
Okay.
Hitting them cold. They don't even know that like the cold case is open. This is like literally a drop in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the team that goes to talk to Michael, like, is late enough that like when they walk in, he's on the phone with Renee, and he's like, no one's here. Oh wait, they are here. Click, right? So like probably not long enough to actually get your story straight,
but enough of a heads up so you can start trying to
formulate something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they show up. They say his initial reaction is not typical of a victim. When they tell him that they're reopening the case, right? What do you think a normal response is to like, hey, we're reopening your dead wife's case?
Oh, I'd be excited. Like, that means they have new information. They're probably going to catch the person.
Right.
I'm glad they're looking into it.
Yeah. Like, thank God, justice will be served for my wife's murder. Have you caught the son of a bitch? Like that's literally kind of what like the detectives are expecting.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. Nope. He doesn't do any of that.
Fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't respond like that at all. Just like very matter of factly, like, oh, okay. This time he did offer up a different motive for the murder. He said, oh yeah, it might not have been a robbery. It might be somebody who is out to get him. He throws out like this wild theory that somebody wanted him dead and killed Barbara instead of him.
Weird that it occurred to him 17 years later and not at the time of the murder of his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he also made comments that like it should have been him, which is maybe a little bit of survivor's guilt, I'll say. A little bit. I'm not going to give him too much, right?
Yeah.
But he also, at this interview, is when they learned that they had a rocky marriage. Right.
Oh, so they didn't know that initially about all the issues with the affair and things like that.
Apparently not. So apparently it wasn't widely known that like they were having marriage troubles and stuff. Apparently, like when the murder happened,
I feel like the police would suspect after him moving in so shortly after.
You would think so. I mean, like in the show, they made it sound like that's when he became a person of interest, or was left as a person of interest. Like he was never cleared,
Gotcha.
Even though they had the alibi.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was basically like he was like, oh yeah, like he let him know about the affair, but like at the same time, he's like fully devoted to Renee, this new gal. Like they've been together like 17 years or 15 years.
Is he though?
Well, I don't know. I mean, as far as people talk. Like,
Okay.
She was in the courtroom, like.
Defending her man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to stop it because we are not even halfway through and we are already at an hour. So we're going to make this a 2-parter. Next week we'll be back with the conclusion, and I am super excited to hear how this one ends because I just don't know. I think it's the husband. I mean, fuck the patriarchy, right? As always, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and download our show, as well as leaving us a 5-star rating or review on whatever platform you listen to us. It really, really helps us out if people go on and review us, or if they leave us a rating. it just helps us become more visible to more people. The more people that listen, the more we can grow our show and do all the fun things. So, also, you can help us out by sharing us on your Facebook, your social media, your Instagram. Share us with your friends, your family, all the things. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which is just Creepy Cascadia Pod. Also, check out our website, creepycascadiapod.com. Or you can send us an email to admin at Creepy Cascadia Pod if you have an idea for a show topic, if you have your own true crime story, your own paranormal story. We want to hear about it. We want to do more listener episodes just because we like talking about you guys because you're the reason that we get to keep doing this. So, yeah, send us an email. We'd love to chat with people. And we will be back next week with the second part of the Comic World Murder. Bye.